Bienvenidos, welcome back to my channel. Join the family, hit that subscribe button. All are welcome here as long as you are kind to one another. And today we are taking a little trip down memory lane back to 2016. If you have been a subscriber since then, bless your soul, because you have been through the good, the bad, the ugly, and now the good again. Obviously, when I started my channel, I thought I was good enough to share my skills with the world, and yes, I do think that my makeup was good back then, but nothing compared to what it is now. And it obviously has to do with a change in trends and whatnot. I saw Roxette and Chloe Morello do videos on how they used to do their makeup versus now. And I stopped in my tracks with this one video when I was looking through all of my old videos, and it was the perfect fall makeup look. It's this classic makeup look that you see everywhere. I promise you, you probably have it pinned on your Pinterest. Comment down below if you've seen this photo right here and if you have it pinned. When I saw that back in 2016, I was like, I have to recreate this look. It's literally everywhere. I always get tagged to recreate it. Watching the video now in 2020, I'm like, she could have done better. So I thought I would take my techniques from today, makeup from today, products from today, and recreate the look to what it is that you're seeing right now. And as you guys know, I am a YSL ambassador. They are sponsoring today's video. Always a pleasure to work with them. I love them so much. And they recently launched a new formula in the Slim collection. This is the Slim Glow Matte. I am so thankful for matte lipsticks that are comfortable to wear, easy to apply, hydrating, it's long wearing, it has a bit of a shimmer to it, which is what's different from the original, the Slim. So it gives you this like added dimension, which I think really works in your favor if you don't have... Oh my God, it's okay. It didn't land. I thought it landed on the actual lipstick. That bit of dimension makes your lips appear really juicy, plump, and coming at you through the screen. So before we hop into the modern version of this look, don't forget to give this video a like if you like what you see, and let's get into it. Watching my video, I started with my entire base done. Foundation, concealer, powder, bronzer, even the brows are done. And I used my concealer as my eyeshadow base. I will still do that occasionally, but concealer tends to just translate a little heavy on the eyes. So I like to use a long wearing foundation on my eyelids, or just the exact same foundation I'm gonna be using on my skin. In today's case, it is the All Hours foundation by YSL, shade BD40, my absolute fave, no fail, long wearing foundation. Very loyal indeed. I used a bone colored shadow like this one in the NATASHA DENONA palette that I'm gonna be using today. It's absolutely perfect for this look, the Glam palette. I applied that across my entire lid. I'm not against that, but what ends up happening is that that shadow is going to then dilute the rest of the eyeshadows that go on top of it. So I'm gonna take my Laura Mercier translucent powder and just dust that into the crease, brow bone, surrounding edges of the actual lid space, and still leave the lid free of powder. And for this, I'm using a LH304 brush. And then I picked up this transition shade. This is like a really soft, cool toned brown. All right, soft, cool toned brown as a transition shade. And in the video, I am following my exact crease pattern. It's not the most flattering. For this look, I'm gonna use this shadow right here called Blend. I'm using the same brush from the video. Smith Cosmetics, shout out to them, okay? They were the first company to ever reach out to me when I had 90 subscribers on YouTube, and they gave me a set of their brushes, and I have been in love with them ever since. So this is the Smith 247, and I'm gonna apply Blend to the crease and again start mapping out that shadow. And this is a similar tone to the original shadow, a slightly warm but still cool transition shadow. I'm still starting in the crease, but from here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start also fanning it out in this direction towards the hairline and going a little up high. And I'm gonna blend that shadow all the way into the inner corner as well. So instead of just keeping it to this area like so, you start there and then you slightly start blending it out. Okay, so I'm just deepening up the crease. I use a color like the shadow Lash Line, and I just realized everything is kind of laid out for you. Center eyelid, outer eyelid, inner corner crease. That's cool. NATASHA, I see what you did there. I am gonna use the color Smoke to deepen up the crease color and then further add dimension and smokiness with lash line versus applying the lash line all up in my crease. I'm also bringing this color all the way in, but starting with the outer edge so it's darker out here. And same thing, winging it out in this direction. In the video, I'm applying the shadow with a Smith 232, which is a super large fluffy brush. I'm gonna go in with that afterwards like this to further diffuse and blend these two shadows together versus applying with it, because when you apply with this, you can get a little carried away right off the gate, you know? So in the video, I say that I go in with this dark shadow in the crease, and then I say that it's too gray, so then I go in with a color like smoke. It was Makeup Geek Smoke. Oh my god, throwback. To modernize this a bit, instead of throwing yet another matte smoky shadow in the crease, I'm gonna take lash line, and as it says, I'm gonna apply this to the outer lash line portion of the eye, not this inner part, just right here, to really create that smoky effect. And to blend that out, I'm going back in with my original Smith 247 that I was using in the crease to just smoke that into the rest of those eyeshadows. And again, also winging it out to meet the other shadows in this outer V. And one more time going in with the large fluffy brush to really get nice and smoky. I'm going in with a little more of that darker eyeshadow and creating more of a wing. Before it was looking like a traditional smoky eye. So I'm just gonna smoke it out in this direction to create that wing and then blend it out once more. I'm gonna go in with this shadow right here, Transition, and not use it as a transition. I'm gonna use this flat Mario E4 brush and use it as an inner corner highlight and blend it into this area right now that has no shadow in it. And you guessed it, one more time, I'm gonna blend so that this cream shadow softly diffuses into the other shadows. I'm staying true to the original image and adding a winged liner. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've done a winged liner. Okay, so I used a felt tip liquid liner pen to do a wing, and I feel like the original look didn't even have a wing. It's more so like black eyeliner along the lash line. So maybe I made it, I don't even know. I'm gonna modernize it by just smudging the black liner along the lash line, doing the same when I do the lower lash line versus a wing. I'm using the Mario Master Pigment Pro Pencil Super Black. I really liked it. Did I say that weird? Super black. I really liked it when I used it in the try on video. You guys haven't checked that out, I'll link it right here for all of you. I'm going to get a little smudge brush ready so that I can apply it and smudge before it sets. Because I did my entire face, brows, then eyes, I'm now rewinding back to the beginning of the video to see how I did the skin. To get the look of porcelain smooth skin, I'm gonna start by using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Smoothing Primer. Because the foundation is also from Makeup Forever, I knew that they would mix well together. So I still feel the same way. I don't heavily rely on primers, but the way I think of how a brand functions is that they create a primer to specifically work with their foundation and improve the look of their foundation. And that is 100% the case with the YSL Touche Éclat Blur Primer. If you caught my IG stories or Instagram live where I could not get over how good this primer looked with the foundation, I hadn't used the two together in a really long time, and then I saw my friend Karen, I Love Sadae, rave about it as well, and how amazing this primer is at making everything look so smooth. And it really is true. When you use the primer with the foundation, it's just the ultimate long-wearing natural matte finish. I think in this original video, I was trying to go super matte based off the original look, and it almost took away from how I would like to wear my makeup. So the end result was just uber, like almost too matte, like I looked like a dry, dusty bitch in this video. This foundation is matte, it's long wearing, but you never feel dry or cakey. It looks like skin. We're gonna prime first with the Touche Éclat Blur Primer, silver. I just felt like the silver went more with this cool tone look, even though it does come in a gold shimmer as well. And I like to focus this more down the center of the face where I have larger pores, more texture. I apply it with my fingers and then pat it in with the sponge. And in the original video, I patted the foundation in directly with my sponge, which I still will do, but lately I have been going back to applying with my fingers first because it really does just warm the product into your skin and look so fresh. I love it. And then I'll go in and blend with the sponge. I am also gonna use a little bit of that foundation and concealer brush to slightly clean this up. So that way I'm not tempted to start blending the lower lash line in with that shadow that's kind of low. We want it to go slightly upwards for that nice cat eye effect. And we're not gonna leave it looking sharp. That is very throwback Instagram makeup, I think. I'm gonna take my LH304, which is synthetic, to diffuse this into the foundation right now. What am I gonna do next? You guys know the drill. I'm gonna go ahead and correct the inner corners of my eyes so that they don't show up dark. I don't do any correcting underneath my eyes anymore. I feel like that was such an extra step that I would do. I feel like it's great if you have really dark under eye circles, but a concealer for me tends to work great. I just go in with a little extra more. I just go in with a little extra right on, like where that little line is, that little shadow, if I need additional coverage. I'm also gonna use this concealer on the lids as an eyeshadow primer. So it looks like I'm applying my concealer directly, like I had it on my hand and went with my sponge and just started like spackling it on my face. We're not gonna do that. Something that I learned the other day that I really thought made a difference was applying my bronzer to the sides of my nose first. So I'm using my Fenty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer 03 Macchiato, my absolute favorite. And that same brush again, seriously so versatile. And I'm gonna apply it for some natural shading. Not really like a contour, even though you can contour right now if you want to. But I did this because I feel like oftentimes when you add your bronzer or your contour on your nose, you have to go back in afterwards and readjust it with concealer, which means you're adding more product, blend it out. So once I have it on there like so, I can go in with my concealer. I'm gonna be using this KOSAS, doesn't have a name, concealer, shade 04, and that concealer brush, and I'm gonna apply my concealer that way to get a nice clean finish. I also like doing this too, like applying concealer with a brush, because I feel like it really warms up the concealer and you get a more precise application versus like going in really heavy with it. This way you can really spread out the concealer and use less versus just like piling it on directly underneath your eye. And I'm gonna go ahead and highlight the rest of my face in this new modern age way. Is that what you even say? I don't even know. I also go in really heavy with Secret Camouflage in that video. And now if I have some minor blemishes and I want to further cover them up, I just use my foundation, like an extra layer. I build on the coverage in those areas so it still looks really light and fresh like the rest of my face. I completely forgot. I already put eyeshadow in that inner corner. Almost like, I was like, wait, why does it look a little... I'm gonna take my 304 brush and blend this concealer sort of in a downward motion away from the shadow so I don't apply concealer over the shadow. You can even soften up that edge where the bronzer meets the concealer. To set the areas that I have highlighted, I always like using a translucent powder to make sure that I don't accidentally darken them up with any other powder. I used this to set the highlighted areas, and then something with more coverage, like a mineral foundation powder, so it still adds a little bit of coverage on the rest of my face. So that's really glam. Nicole! Oh my gosh, her brush set with Tarte.
After that, I'm going to be bronzing using the new multitasking perfector.
Okay, I have to say, my bronzer looked super, not so well blended. Like in the past, it's okay. It looked good to you then. That's all that matters. I used to apply my bronzer like this. I'm rubbing it into my foundation. Now, whenever you see me apply bronzer, I do like a pat and blend motion. I'm definitely not rubbing it into my skin, and I think that's why back then it tended to look a little choppy at times, but with a cream bronzer, you don't have that issue. So I'm going to apply this like I normally would, and then further blend it out with the sponge. I did a bronzer, then a contouring powder to further deepen it up. So I feel like before my contour never looked super blended.
Same translucent powder I was using earlier.
I'm using my translucent powder to cut the cheek. In this case, if I wanted to further cut the cheek, I'm just gonna show you guys, but I feel like it does look really well blended. But if I wanted to further chisel, I would just take some more foundation and add it just like that. I love that for being a matte foundation, YSL All Hours still allows you to keep layering and blending. It doesn't start to like skip or come off your face. I've used other matte foundations where you cannot keep blending and adding once it's set. This is something really weird that I don't even remember doing, but I go in with Gimme Brow and then add in more product, like a pencil in between. Nowadays, all I use is Gimme Brow. I don't add any additional brow product because I feel like my brows are extremely full. They were extremely full back then too, so I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not gonna do the brows just yet. I'm gonna wait, as you guys know, towards the end is when I do brows, mascara, and the lips. Okay, I guess I can set the rest of my face now because I think after that, I start adding the final touches. So I'm just going in with the Laura Mercier Translucent and lightly powdering down the entire face so that it doesn't feel sticky. I like to press in the concealer that may be creasing and then also press my powder in, because for me it just works the best because my under eyes always like to crease, and this really prevents them from creasing throughout the day. So it looks like I finished the eyes. I'm going to first completely fill in my waterline with that Makeup by Mario black liner. I'm gonna tight line up here. I think, oops. No. How did I even do that? So now it's like a little too high on that part, but it's okay.
And lightly dusting the Celestial Powder in Candlelight by Kevyn Aucoin.
Okay, so I really took this whole matte thing seriously and even used a really subtle highlight. I still want the skin, even though it is matte, I still want it to look fresh and natural. So I'm gonna use these two Revlon Skin Lights highlighters. I'm gonna use Twilight Gleam and Sunlit Glow. Sunlit Glow, I'm going to take the large end of my hourglass brush and I'm going to just lightly sweep this onto the forehead. I used to highlight my forehead, and just recently, like within this year, I realized that it just looked a little unnatural, and using a shimmery bronzer like this creates that same glow, but with a more natural finish. See that? And then with the highlighter, Twilight Gleam, this is a Sigma Soft Blend number 40. And I'm just going to sweep it or work it into this pocket right here. And then once I mist my skin, it'll be way more intense and look way more natural. Also the bridge of the nose, can't forget that. And Cupid's bow. I did use a cool toned blush. I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna use a highlighting blush and a matte blush. I'm using NARS Behave and NARS Tempted. Anytime I have like a blush color like this that's super shimmery, I think, you know, people see this and they want to apply it to their entire cheek, but you wouldn't necessarily have shiny cheeks all the way through. So I start with the matte first. I'm using the other end of this brush and I sweep all across the cheeks, starting with the apples and then going back and up. I'm gonna pick up the shimmery blush and just smile and add it right to the apples like this. I would call this like an upgrade from a completely matte look to a satin look. You feel me? You feel me on that one?
And then I'm just giving myself a spritz of Fix Plus to make everything look really natural.
Still a staple, always missed before any products on the face. I did already do my brows in this video. I'm gonna lightly define my brows with the E.L.F. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, and then I'm gonna finish it with not even Gimme Brow, no, Melissa. If I use a pencil in my brows, I use a clear brow gel. I never use like a pencil and a tinted brow gel. I use a clear and a pencil, or just a tinted brow gel. Not both, it's a little much. So let me define and then go with the clear brow gel. I think these days it's all about the feathered brow, and I definitely am much more aware of that. I can't remember the last time I tweezed an eyebrow hair from this face. I just let them live their best lives. I applied little cluster individual lashes in that video, but my eyes just get really irritated with false eyelashes. I don't know. I've tried various glues, so it can't be the glue. It has to be something about like the fibers or the hairs that they use in false lashes. So I've always just relied ever since on just a good mascara. And today I'm gonna use NARS Climax for a false lash look. I don't know at what point in my life I started using Brown Black Voluminous by L'Oreal on my lower lashes, because in this video I just completely skip over that. So I'm gonna go in with my absolute fave on my lower lashes. And then for a modern matte, this I am so thankful for that YSL launched the Slim. Now we have the newest edition, the Slim Glow Matte, which has a bit of shimmer that adds this really cool dimension. In that video, I was trying to make a super matte liquid lip dimensional, but with this one product, you can get a bit of shimmer that's matte. You can outline with the shape of the lipstick. And this color, I think, is just going to amp up the look even more. This is shade number 216. I love that I don't need a lip liner with these because I'm honestly really lazy when it comes to lip liner. I'm trying to find like the perfect match, blend it in. I like that this is just like a one and done. All right, give it to me straight. What do you guys think? Do you like this one versus the original? I definitely think this looks way more refined, more polished, more just modern, and I love it. And I am so jealous of everyone growing up nowadays that has the internet to watch makeup tutorials because it was definitely like a learn as you go process doing makeup online. You know, when I started my channel, I thought I was the best of the best, not the best of the best, but I thought I was really, really good. And it's so cool to see your progression, documenting it all online from, you know, 5 years ago to now. So much has changed. And I am so happy that you get this now versus the old look. So if you enjoyed it, give it a like. Share this video with anyone who has that photo pinned on that Pinterest board of theirs and give them a more modern take on a classic look. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Mwah.